analytics. It was watching common opponents. It was talking to opponents that, he's faced in the past, guys that did well against him, guys that hadn't, people that grappled with him. So just any knowledge that we can grab. How did he feel in this position? Well, he doesn't always do this takedown because he usually gets everybody with the initial foot sweep or the hook jump to half guard. But when I trained with him, being a high-level jiu-jitsu guy, he had to go to the second and third layer on me, and this is what he's going to do. You haven't seen this because nobody's forced him to use it, but if he has to, you stop the first move, this is where he's going to go. That's why he came up short. When he went for the takedown, he went for that little leg hook that he's gotten on everybody else. He went to try to run the pipe. He went to try to put the pressure. He went to try to lock his hands. We were prepared for the second and third attempt because we were blessed to have the people who had trained with him, people that are just knowledgeable at his style and his game to prepare us for that. And you're right, Dean. People aren't educated. And the bad part is we're trying to transition this sport into a mainstream sport. We're trying to make this parallel with any other professional sport out there. But we have not lost the barbaric mindset, the bar fighting mindset. Just watching some of the fighters, and I'm not knocking any fighters, but just the different levels of skill sets, athletic abilities, sizes, the way that individuals look. We're the only sport where we have such a mixed bag of athletes. Like if it was a real and true draft, how many athletes would actually be in the UFC? Like what NFL player, okay, hey, I'm a dope NFL player. I'm making my team a lot of money. Hey, I want you to bring my buddy. I want you to bring my buddy on the team too. All right, cool. No NFL player
and that's not
can
happening.
do that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not happening. So, but I think it's the UFC jobs to educate. I think it's the promoters. I think it's all those different branches to the tree. It's their job to bring that education and to make this a sophisticated sport because it's still fairly new. It's relatively new, comparable to all the other sports that have been around for hundreds of years. So, I 100% wholeheartedly agree with you. It's not going to change overnight. But guess what? We're on the right path, man. We're on the path to greatness. Think about Georges St. Pierre. Georges St. Pierre took 3 years off. Now he's the big fight that everybody wanted, everybody's talking. People fail to realize when he left, he's boring. He's laying and praying. He's keeping it safe. He's not finishing people anymore. When was the last time he finished? He's laying on people. He was getting heat from every which end.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Fresh that I'm getting the heat because he was like, oh, my goodness, I remember when it was me. I was getting that stuff from left and right.
Well, it's funny because now, what I remember when he first took that hiatus and he was like, man, listen, I need to get out of here. I need to just take a break. And I get it now, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he dominated for years taking this heat. And I get why he was like, you know what? I need to step away from this because this is not good for my self-esteem. And I get it, man, because the heat he took, well, I mean, it just, eventually it just catches up to you. And I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I talked to George about it. That's why when he came, I knew what he was coming back for. I knew George was coming back not to make another run and do what he already has done. He already had his name engraved into the record books right now. He's came back because he said, hey, you know what? I already helped build the pay-per-view model. I'm already did my time. Guys like Connor, John Jones, Ronda Rousey, all these fighters that that are making all this money. I want to get in on some of this money. What Georges St. Pierre needs to do is just be honest, man. You're not back in this sport to take on the welterweights and prove that you're back and you're the king's back. You're not there for that, man. You're here for super fights. You're here to make a lot of money because you help build the business model for pay-per-view. And there's no shame in that. Just be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's no shame in that. I mean, yeah, he left on the terms that he left, but you're right. There is absolutely no shame in saying, hey, listen, I'm coming back for a big chunk of money. You know what I'm saying? Because and he should just admit that to the people, not coming back to try to prove anything to anybody because he's proved that he's one of the greatest welterweights of all time. He's proved that. So no need to come back and try to fake the funk and act like that's not what he's coming back for. Just hey, listen, I'm coming back because I need to make some money because everybody making all this money now, so I need to get my hand on it.
I agree, and part of the reason why he don't publicly talk about it's a lot of the pressure, a lot of the demands, a lot of the treatment that he felt that he was getting from the organization. So we might as well not pussyfoot it around, go ahead and get right to it, because the whole world already talked this whole beginning of the week. They're talking about the story last week was me and Dana. Oh, they back cool now. They're getting along. Then all of a sudden, me and the homie had a fallout. We went we went ham again.
Yeah,
He took a
man.
shot at me at the press conference. I felt like it was unwarranted. After he said his statement, I went and I talked to him personally. I said, "Man, I heard you gave me a little smoke up there." I said, "Yeah, you deserve some smoke, man. Your fight, broke the record for the least amount of strikes." I said, "But also, you probably broke the record for who's ever had 4 title fights in 1 year, who's defended 24 shots on a specialist on a 7-fight win streak that's taken on his last 12 opponents after he did a back-to-back fight with another guy that was a specialist that was on a 7-fight win streak." So maybe some of those stats. And he also has the fastest stoppage in welterweight championship history. Those stats were never communicated. He said, "Well, you got to do it." I said, "Well, I just want to let you know this. In the first round, I threw my shoulder out, and I wasn't able to throw the power punches that many people thought I should have. Oh, he was hurt. You should have got him out of there." Yeah, I wanted to. When have you ever, Dean, in your life, seen somebody on the ropes with me and I didn't try to get them out of there? Never
Yeah,
happened.
indeed, for sure,
Never happened. So
for sure.
I felt like after I had that communication with him about that, about my shoulder, told him I was getting it checked out, I felt like he could have eased up a little bit. And then part of it, I went to the doctor, I got the results, torn anterior tear in my labrum. And I was pissed off, man. I ain't gonna lie. I went mask off. Somebody got me at the right time, actually the right time and the wrong time, and I just completely went off because at a certain point, man, I feel like I do so many things positive for the organization. I try to represent the banner in the way. I'm doing so much to promote myself, and it's very damaging. It's very hard to catapult and to transcend and to connect with so many different fans when at times you're thrown under the bus and shots are taken at you by the same person whose job is to promote you. So I spoke with him. I voiced my opinions on that. I kind of went off a little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to share the conversation we had, but I felt at the end of the deal, we, as respectful men, we were able to have that conversation, and the conversation ended on a good note.
Well, that's good to hear because like nobody benefits when there's beef and there's tension and you can't get along and work together. But
And
but
we were
it's
good too. Like,
yeah,
I was at the Kendrick Lamar concert, Super
yeah.
Bowl. Every question that any reporter asked me all week, "Oh man, you and Dana back and forth. Are y'all good now?" Like, I turned everything into positive, because when I made some statements about me as a champion, I felt like I wasn't marketing it right. Felt like I wasn't, promoted properly. I felt like I had so many things going on: movies, entertainment, TV shows, Fox, analysts, owning the gym, just constant networking with celebrities, actors. And I never got the credit and I never got the marketing push. I never got the piggyback. And I felt at times I was almost underpromoted. I made those claims and I brought those facts to the UFC. We had some meetings and we sat down and they hooked me up with shout out to my homie Meredith. Meredith does PR for WME. They really made a strong push to try to align me with some dope brands to get me outside of the traditional UFC bubble. And, Josh as well, Josh and PR, Dave Lockett, all those guys, man, they really, really made a commitment to making things different. So I gave it up to them. And I don't take that back because they really did. So I didn't have anything negative to talk about, Dan. I didn't have nothing to complain about. But, man, right after that, damn,
They
you just
got you.
can't, you just can't let you could have even said, "Hey, I didn't like the fight as much, but Demian Maia's tough, taking everybody down. It's kind of hard to, have a great performance on somebody that's constantly shooting on you. But it is what it is. He's a remaining champion. We'll see what next one. And then I can't make somebody say what I think they should have said, but you didn't necessarily have to. And I haven't heard everything. I just heard the highlights, but it sounded like it's kind of a little brutal slaying there.